There is a shocking update, positive but shocking, in the case where a mother had kidnapped her own 4 children by taking them out of the country to Europe. They have been found in a Croatian orphanage. Now, before I get into the update of how they were found in this orphanage and what's going on right now, I need to kind of rewind and start from the beginning of how we got here, as I have not yet covered this case. So let's get into it. The mother in this case, Alicia Ann Seymour, is 35 years old, and she has been formally charged with 4 counts of custodial interference and removing the child from the state, which are third-degree felonies, after she allegedly abducted her 4 children and fled to Europe. The abduction allegedly occurred on November 29th, 2025, and after some investigation from law enforcement, the Utah Department of Public Safety issued an endangered and missing advisory on December 10th for the 4 children whose ages are 11, 8, 7, and 3 years old. Now, officers with the West Jordan Police Department out of Utah, they were dispatched to a residence for a welfare check on December 2nd. Court documents reveal that officers found that the residence, which was belonging to Alicia, was unlocked and unoccupied. Law enforcement had been unable to get a hold of Alicia by phone and learned that she also hadn't answered phone calls from a coworker and a friend since November 29th. Alicia also allegedly discussed obtaining passports and leaving the country with a former boyfriend. Investigators reportedly found a notebook in Alicia's home with plans to shred documents, discard phones, and take passports. Additionally, they determined that her vehicle was left in a parking lot at the Salt Lake City International Airport. Now, airport video footage showed Alicia and her 4 children entering the airport on November 29th and boarding a flight that was bound for Amsterdam and ending in Croatia. The flight was booked as only one way. This video footage is what had gone out in press releases and the media, and is something that many of us actually did see in relation to this case, as it was the last video footage that they had of the mother and her 4 children. On December 2nd, Alicia allegedly left a voicemail for one of the fathers of her children, where she claimed to be in France with her children. She also stated that she was looking for a permanent residence and took the kids because the, quote, end times were coming. Law enforcement had determined that neither one of the fathers knew or consented to Alicia removing the children from the state or the country. They also determined that she appeared to have no intention of returning the children to the United States and had surpassed the time in which she was required to give the children to their respective fathers for their court-ordered custody time. It was at this point that charges were formally filed against Alicia in Utah. Now, the FBI, because these kids were taken out of the country and across state lines, became involved with the investigation. Now, the very shocked ex-husband of Alicia, one of her ex-husbands, had revealed that he had no idea of her bizarre beliefs until her secret TikTok account came to light. Kendall Seymour, who does go by Kenny, shares 3 children with his ex-wife and insisted that she had shown no signs of a paranoid worldview during their marriage or divorce proceedings. Kenny went on to state, "I didn't know about any of these ideas of hers until a couple weeks ago when someone found her TikTok account." Now, regarding her TikTok account, I have taken some clips off the account and just compiled them into a few little things. Less than 5, I think it's like between 3 and 5 minutes. And I will play that for you at the very end of this video, just so it gives you a little bit of insight as to what she was thinking, where her mind was at the time all of this was going on, some of the beliefs and these, quote, doomsday ideations that she had. Now, in talking to the media, Kenny went on to state, quote, "She thinks Salt Lake is going to be destroyed and she is trying to get the kids to safety. My only hope is that she is motivated to protect them," he said. There were no signs of that when we were married or divorced in the last 5 years. Now, Kenny had noted that his ex-wife had previously forged passport documents for the children and left behind 2 ominous notes at home. He said that one was a delusional message from God promising her she would be in Italy by Christmas, and the other was a to-do list, which, as noted before, included throwing away her phone and purchasing a prepaid phone. Kenny had last seen his children between November 24th and 25th when he dropped them off at school at the start of their scheduled custody time with their mother. It was days later after that that the childcare worker called asking why the kids hadn't shown up for daycare. The welfare search that occurred on December 2nd was also sparked by the fact that Alicia's colleagues reported she hadn't shown up for work and she was not answering messages. We have covered the past and we're coming up to current times to this week. Now, Kenny has been speaking to media this week, and he spoke to the local channel in Utah saying that he's been in Croatia for the past 8 days, and he said that he believed his ex-wife had met an American citizen living in Croatia and wanted to leverage that connection to get somewhere remote. It sounds like she met this other American citizen in Croatia under the pretense that she was bringing the kids here legally. According to Kenny, once the American citizen living in Croatia heard the news about the children, the police were called and their mother was taken into custody by Croatian authorities. Kenny had then been contacted by the Croatian police, who were holding the kids in a children's home in the country. He said he only received secondhand information about why his ex-wife was being detained, but he believed it was ultimately related to the charges filed in Utah and to the warrant for her arrest. Kenny went on to say to the news that you have to remind yourself this is our reality. This isn't some Netflix documentary you watched. It happened to us. Now, according to Kenny, Croatian police will not release his children until documentation from the U.S. has been checked and rechecked. He went on to say, it's a beautiful place to be. The scenery is gorgeous, but we're stuck in mental hell at the same time trying to figure out how we get these kids out of here and back to their home. And he actually posted an update to a GoFundMe that they had, and I'm just going to read it directly here. It was posted on January 25th, 2026, and he posted, "The kids are trapped in Croatia in a state-run orphanage. We are in the country trying to get the kids out of the custody of the local government. We have to hire Croatian lawyers who specialize in child abduction, create and submit Hague Convention applications, hire court-approved translators, and extend our stay here by an unknown amount of time, all to work on getting the kids released from government custody. Therefore, we decided to raise our goal. Although we are very happy the original goal was met, this will be entirely consumed by just our flights here and back. This part of Croatia is the most expensive place to fly to and stay out of all possible locations we had on our radar. Who knows how much money is going to be needed for the therapy for the 5 of us after all of this is over. There is also a 5th American child in this children's home. My children were traveling with him and his mother. The 5th child's situation is even more difficult than my own kid's status. We would like to help him as much as possible. His situation is going to need more legal help and strategy than ours." Now, Kenny went on to say that the children were warm and fed, but said that his daily visits, that the facility feels like a jail. He said he can only see the children once a day due to the children's home's strict visitation policy. He said that they're already stretching the rules on visitation for us. He initially thought that bringing the children back to America would be wrapped up in a 2 or 3 day visit, and now after 8 days, he doesn't know how long it will take. Now, joining Kenny out there is his partner, Heather Shelley, and she also spoke out saying, quote, "How is this really happening? It just seems so surreal all the time. Is this really our life? Are the children really kidnapped? Are we ever going to get them back?" She said that it's been a hard 10 days, 11 days that we've been here. As we are waiting for them to release the children, and to a certain extent, we're grateful that they are careful about things like this. Heather went on to say the kids have a hard time understanding why they can't come home yet. She said, "Today we went outside and played red light, green light because it was a warm, sunny day, and we haven't had one of those for a while. So just anything we can. We're just playing with them, showing them we love them, and assuring them that we're here until finally we get the go-ahead to take them home." Heather said they may not have found the missing kids if it was not for a teenage boy who was with them and his own mother. The teen's mother had made contact with another woman from the U.S. who had similar ideology, and they both were thinking, "We need to flee the U.S. because it's going to be destroyed," she said. The family thinks that the teen found out the kids had been illegally taken out of the country and told his mother. That somehow led to Alicia's arrest and the children being located and one step closer to coming home. Heather went on to say, "Normal life will seem so much more sweet after having been through something like this." No, I'm sure there's still a lot more to come in this situation. The father has asked if anyone else has ever been through this before. He doesn't seem to have a precedent for it. He'd be happy to hear from them to get some help on the situation and get the kids back home. There's not any update that I can see yet on what's going on with Alicia, and if she's going to be extradited back to the US for her charges, or if there's anything else that she has going on when it comes to Croatia and charges. I'm not sure on that. There wasn't much said there. Right now, the focus is on getting these poor kids home. It's just shocking that they were found in a Croatian orphanage. It kind of blows my mind. So let me know your thoughts on this story and what you think about things. A lot of people said that initially this kind of reminded everyone a little bit of Lori Daybell because of the whole kind of Doomsday ideology and that kind of speak and stuff like that. Thankfully, there was no other tragic part to this of what happened with Lori Daybell's situation. But yeah, this is the big update in this case. Thankfully, they were able to find these kids physically safe, mentally, emotionally. I'm sure that's a whole other story, and that's going to take some time and some healing to get through. But thank you so much for tuning in to The Light. As always, make sure that you like, comment, share, and you are following me for much more on this case that we will continue to follow and other cases that I report on. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next one.
For the end times, come closer unto me, for there is a spirit of deception upon you. Hey all, Daughter of Light here. I have an urgent message, so here we go. My people need to hear this. The crack will be so loud, all of America will hear it. Parts of Alaska, and he said parts because Alaska and Mexico both have had hurricanes, and a lot of Alaska has been taken out by the hurricane. Parts of Alaska, Canada, Mexico, the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, Switzerland, and the East Hemisphere. It will be as if a large glacier has broken off into the ocean. Earthquakes will follow. Floods will consume parts of America. The world will be in shock just like it was in 9/11. But they will not be able to fight back. California will be a grave to those who stay. God is saying he is going to bring his wrath upon everybody. Prepare yourselves. Get food, get water, make sure you have warm clothes and blankets. Prepare yourselves because things are about to start happening. Revelations is coming to pass. So that was a message that I was given. I don't know if you guys are aware, but earthquakes are going to be starting. And he is asking everybody to turn to him because he wants us to go back with him. I know that things are to come, and it is not going to be someplace that you want to be. Hear me now. Darkness will consume America. No heat, no air conditioning, no lights, no power. Gather up solar lanterns and lights, batteries, food, blankets, provisions. That the people that do terrible things, they have a white light on their chest, and it slowly turns gray and then to black. Okay. I was careful not to ask a why question, and I said, how is it things like this have continued to happen? How is it has gone on for so long? And he showed me, and we walked over to this huge table, and I'm seeing like a map of the world, and I at first see a bunch of white little dots everywhere, just like a bunch of white little dots, and it's like covered. It's like lighting up. It's beautiful. And I then see that it slowly turns to gray, and then it turns to black, and there's fewer white spots left. And he said the lights are going out.